I got into composition maybe around 10th grade, and Philip Glass was really the composer that I first heard, and his most famous is probably the Hours soundtrack. He was a guy that incorporated jazz, but repetition and major 7 chords, which I'm a big fan of.
Yeah, these G sharps that you write in when the basses are, for thou only art holy.
Yes.
These little inflections and stuff that are almost like jazz notes. It's just like in a jazz chord, you have to nail the pitch in the center of the pitch, and if you're this far off, unlike in a simple major chord, it just sounds completely wrong.
My chord progressions are simple, but I love throwing in dissonance.
So Philip Glass is your main influence.
Well, he's still one of my favorites. He got me wanting to write music. I'm really more interested in Burt Bacharach's one of my favorite composers, and songwriters like that, like Irving Berlin. I love musical theater. Melody was very important to me, and I kind of remembered how important it was after college when I was like, it's okay to maybe write something in C major. My influences are very jazz and minimalism and tango and, the Beatles, of course, and so it's everywhere.
I'm interested in your piece. What came first in this process? Talk to us about that.
Yeah, more, the melody and it was hard because I've never written a piece for choir. I've written, things in college, that you played on where we had singers.
We had solo singers, and where you treated those singers as you would treat a clarinet or a flute. They had syllables and vowels rather than actual words.
Yeah, the only image I had was and this probably just, you're not going to believe it, but you conducting the choir.
No, I love that.
Yeah, and just and the power and energy coming from that, and is this going to work when it's performed? I mean, I'd like to say, I have the image of a church or Virgin Mary or something.
And this is the reason why I asked, because we have had some very, very specific imagery come up to people in our group when they hear this, and it's different with different people, but it's very, very specific. So we sight read through this piece the first time, and the first person was like, this is a demented carnival ride, we're on a merry-go-round with demon horses.
That's my style of music.
But then somebody else, this is equally your style of music, somebody else said, it's one of those synchronized swimming and diving videos from the 1950s. Which is not the same thing, and yet I can definitely see how...
I want the names of these people.
Oh, you...
That's the great thing about art. It means something to one person, and then somebody else, completely a different image, and that's what's wonderful about it.